want to ask for your help. We need you to save at home. Other countries where we borrow money, they lend us money from savings from their countrymen. If you people agree with a good framework to save money at home, that is the money the government can borrow for development at an interest instead of going to China. We don't go to China because we like it. No. Unajua kikwetu wanasema buzi ya kupewa haiangaliwi kama iko na meno. So, we go to China because there is nowhere else we can borrow money. If we can develop a saving culture for our people in the diaspora, because your money is huge, and that's what I want to appeal to you. When the PS and our team works on that framework, please come in. We have a responsible government, and there is no responsible government that can let anybody lose your savings. Once we work on that framework, and it is very clear and explained to you on how you can save your money back home and you are earning interest, please do so that we can have a big reserve of our own money from the people of Kenya, where the government can borrow at an interest for the development of your country. So we want your support. On the issue of voting rights, it's true, it's a constitutional requirement. We need you people in the diaspora to be part of the decision-making process to determine the leadership of Kenya. More so because you have loved ones back at home, you have people that are important to you and they need to be governed well. And since you have more exposure, you should participate in deciding the leadership of the country. Of course, as it were, the matter is handled by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which is an independent commission. But the problem has not been that they are not willing. It has been the budgetary allocation. So that is something as a government we need to do. Ask them to map the whole world, and as a government allocate sufficient funds to enable them register voters across the world and create polling stations within the country so that people can exercise their voting right and they can participate in the democratic process of deciding who leads Kenya and how Kenyans are governed. So that is something we'll be pursuing. Of course, you know, as we speak today, we don't have commissioners for the IBC. The process had begun in earnest, but you know there are few dynamics after the demonstrations and the wearing of sufurias on the head. And I'm sure in the due course, commissioners will be in place, and then as a government, we can engage them about the diaspora vote so that we can be able to make some progress. Again, you have raised the issue of work permits. It is true. When this country was struggling, Kenyans came in hardy, and you are here in thousands to fill the gap. Along the way, when they developed their own capacity, they started being a little bit strict on the work permits. So luckily, I have an appointment with the president of this great republic on Monday morning, and I'll be able to put up a very strong case to remind him to remember the journey, that capacity they have developed was as a result of Kenyans, and therefore they cannot just abandon us in the high noon. I'm not sure to what extent he'll accede, but I'm a good negotiator. I know how to put up a case. I'll prepare well, and I'll do the much I can, and I'm sure we'll get some progress so that we see whether they can be a little bit magnanimous to allow our people to work, because when they were down and needed us, we were there for them. And we are good people, we are good friends. We have helped them along the way, and they should grow with us. They should not throw us out when they are doing well. We'll be able to discuss that one. The other one, of course, is another request, is across Africa, the resumption of KQ to this country and elsewhere. It is true that is what should happen, but I must be very honest with you to tell you that we have challenges with KQ. Very serious challenges, financial. KQ is hardly able to meet its operating expenses, and there are serious discussions on possible reforms to get KQ back on track. I must tell you, the problem of KQ is what we have said. KQ is on its deathbed because of what you call state capture. KQ was captured by those in power and loaded a lot of contracts that are untenable. They forced them to lease aircrafts at costs that are not possible to meet with the income. So it's a major, it's a serious thing on how to unlock the whole thing, and those contracts were also done in a way that getting out of them is quite problematic. I think the state capture fellows were very clever. They did it in a way that even if there's a change of government, to get out of those contracts, the penalties are extremely heavy. But I can assure you that the government is well sized of the matter, and the need to get KQ back on track as the pride of Africa and as our national pride. And the way Balozi has said is true. For every 10 passengers, there is a job created. So I can tell you that the government is well sized on the matter, and a lot is going on behind the scenes. And shortly, KQ will be back on track. And when that happens, this destination will be given priority. You came here in thousands, and you have made a difference to this country. And the people of this great country adore you, and they respect you for your professionalism and hard work. So you have been good ambassadors for our country. You have represented us well. You have made us proud. You have dignified our motherland. So I want to say pongezi. You are aware we had problems with the NSSF, where they had created a law that you only save 200 shillings. 200 shillings, even if you save for 30 years. I think it's 72,000. Because it's 2,400 per year. You know? We have now only looked at it, and people will be allowed to save up to 6%, and employer 6%, that is 12%, and that is good saving. So a conversation, as the peer has said, is going on creating a diaspora bond. The government wants to create an investment forum guaranteed by government for the people in diaspora. How you can invest back home in a safe manner, and your savings are safe. We'll be mapping out credible real estate developers to work with the State Department of Diaspora Affairs that can build homes for people abroad, and the government will guarantee that you are having difficulties in immigration matters because you have to go the way to Pretoria, it's expensive, or you have to wait until somebody comes from Pretoria like he has come to attend to you. We have already taken some action. As we speak, an immigration officer has been identified and posted here. And shortly after the processing is done, his papers are done, his accreditation is done, shortly in another 2 to 3 weeks, you will have a permanent immigration officer here in the High Commission to deal with your passport issues. I think the other matter that you raised is the involvement in the parliamentary process through representation, through nomination. That is something. I was in Ghana, the same was raised. I was in Rwanda, the same was raised. So the death bills are very heavy, and we are listening. It's something that we need to discuss. On our side, our Kenya Kwanza formation. You know what happens in Parliament? Those positions are shared depending on the strength of the party. Right now, we are almost slightly more than half. So I believe in our part of the coalition, that is something that we can be able to discuss from the Kenya Kwanza formation. I don't know what is the position of our brothers on the other side of the divide. But even when there are amendments to the Constitution through a parliamentary process, it is something that we can put on the table, and I've taken very good note of that one.